Start.
One of the consequences of that are people kind of questioning the objectivity, so to speak, of the film. And I know, Sabah, you've said that the film's a recognition that facts and truth are not the same thing. What did you mean by that?
You can find a fact to prove almost any point that you want, but I think that there is a truth that resonates. It's a truth that you can feel. It can't always be articulated in words. It can't always be encapsulated with numbers, but you know it because it resonates. And I think that's why this film resonates with people. I think that's what we were really trying to get at with telling the story, is going deeper than the numbers and getting to that real human space.
Damon Davis, for you, this is your community, and this film was, several years in the making. What kind of personal toll has it taken on you?
This has been difficult, trying to walk a line of being an artist and being charged with being a storyteller for a lot of people that trust you, but also making sure that this story is cohesive and it makes sense. It's a difficult process in that regard, and also never having time to actually deal with my own trauma or situations that happened to me while protesting or while doing this stuff. So it's still well worth it because we need this story to be told, and in particular we need it to be told in a way where someone from this place and that lived these things was in the room when it was being put together.
I get the sense, Damon, that this is an effort to lay down your own official narrative, to not let it be left to be told by the news clips.
Definitely. We had the opportunity here to make something the side of the underdog is to be told by the underdog. And for the first time, we got to tell our own story. And I think that that's really, really important. And I think since we started this journey, one of the main things we wanted to talk about is specifically in documentary filmmaking, there's always someone else, some outsider from outside of the community that parachutes in. They get all of the goods, they get all of the stories, and they are constantly extracting stories in life from people without proper context for the world that they came into, and without any accountability to those people. And I think we got to do something very different here because we are those people.
Well, Damon Davis and Sabah Filion, thank you so much for speaking with us.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
It's probably not the best copies or something. I'm just sort of well, here it kind of is, such as it is. We were we want better photos of it. But eventually all this stuff will get out, probably within the next week.
Another new streaming service for cable companies to compete with. We're going to look at how cable companies can also benefit from streaming services. That's on Marketplace, plus the day's business news.
Yeah, it's a little different.
Support for OPB comes from our members, thank you, and from Peace Health, offering various treatment plans to help get back to a healthy spine. Learn more at peacehealth.org/spine. If you look up in the skies, you'll probably see some lingering wildfire smoke. That's why there are still air quality alerts in effect around the region for the next couple days at least. Also, heat advisory
Birdie is
for the Lower
Amy.
Columbia Basin, the Eastern Columbia River Gorge, and the Northern Blue
Everything's
Belt.
too. There's people that actually take pictures of this stuff and then they don't put it all into context. They don't bother to ask me stuff. I don't know. I'm right here.
Otherwise, mostly sunny, highs in the low 90s in northwest Oregon, could get up to about 92 in the Portland area, highs around 100 east of the Cascades. This is OPB 91.5 FM in Portland and Cascade Bronx. I'm Kate Davidson. We're coming up on 6:30. Have a good night. Marketplace is supported by Personal Capital. You can download the Personal Capital app to help you plan for retirement and see all your financial accounts in one place.
With apologies to Stanley Kubrick, the episode in which we learned to stop worrying and love the bond market. From American Public Media, this is Marketplace.
You're doing better lighting, I suppose.
Marketplace is supported by Magoosh, online test prep for the ACT, SAT, GMAT, GRE, LSAT, and MCAT. Prep smart, go far, and enjoy the ride at Magoosh.com. And by Battelle, advanced technology and analytics designed to improve patient outcomes and healthcare experience. At Battelle, it can be done. Battelle.org/health. And by Epson, bringing technology to the fashion and textile industries with printers for designers to bring their ideas to life. Where there's business, there's Epson. Learn more at epson.com/forbusiness.
In Los Angeles, I'm Kai Rizal. Wednesday, August the 9th, 2017. Remember that date, by the way. You're going to need it later. Good as always to have you along, everybody. So look, I get it. I get the headlines about fire and fury and escalation and threats, and all that has happened in the past 24 hours is alarming. Allow me, if I might, though, without discounting the reality of what's going on out there, to cut through maybe some of the fear. There is nothing in this economy that reacts as viscerally to the news, whether good or bad, as do the markets. The bond market in particular, a refuge in times of uncertainty like this. As Marketplace's Gregory Romack reports, the bond markets are telling us to take a deep breath. The ancient Greeks had the oracle at Delphi, that kid had that dog, Lassie. We have the bond market. And here's what the bond market has to say about North Korea.
We've been through these types of situations with North Korea before. The markets don't believe that war is imminent.
David Krause teaches finance at Marquette University. If bond buyers were freaked out about North Korea, they would move their money to long-term bonds, pushing the price up and yields down.
There has been very little movement.
There's been a little, and I mean a teensy bit, of long-term bond buying, but not a lot. One place where the bond market appears to be raising an eyebrow, at least, is around the debt ceiling deadline in October.
If the ceiling isn't waived, then potentially, with a small probability, default could occur.
Sinead Colton is head of investment strategy with Mellon Capital. Bonds coming due when we expect the debt ceiling debate to be raging have gotten slightly less popular. Emphasis, though, on slightly.
Well, a smidge is a smidge. It's not significant.
Marilyn Cohen is CEO of Envision Capital. Compared with the last debt ceiling crisis, bonds are barely moving.
I do not think that this administration is going to play a game of chicken with that debt ceiling.
So at the end of the day, the bond market does not really care. It does not care about North Korea. It does not care a lot about the debt ceiling. With one important caveat, it does not care for now. In New York, I'm Gregory Romack for Marketplace. For now. The straight-up business story of this Wednesday, inspired by Disney's announcement it's going to launch its own streaming service and bail on Netflix in a couple of years, is good old-fashioned cable TV and how it's hanging on in this streaming economy. Marketplace's Annie Baxter has that one.
It used to be cable operators just offered pay TV packages, but today's telecoms and cable companies like AT&T and Comcast own a vast network of broadband pipes which provide high-speed internet access into homes. Eric Brannon is principal analyst at IHS Market Technology. He says whether customers are paying for cable or paying for internet packages to stream Netflix doesn't matter to the cable operators.
They're still in the home. They've still got a customer relationship with that household.
Brannon calculates that in 2011, there were about 47 million cable broadband households. He forecasts that number will climb to nearly 72 million by 2021. For pay TV households, the numbers are headed in the other direction. Brannon says, sure, right now cable operators charge less for monthly broadband than for cable TV.
However, growth in broadband revenue and growth in broadband subscribers does correlate to increased total profits for these companies.
So it's not necessarily a bad thing for cable companies if customers use their broadband to stream Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, and, in a couple of years, Disney. Doing so requires premium internet service. Here's technology consultant Jeff Kagan.
The growing part of the cable television industry isn't cable television. It's internet. The internet, it is the core that everything rides over, whether the internet is wireline or whether it's wireless.
As for Disney's prospects as a streaming service, that's an open question. Kagan says it's unclear how many streaming services people will want to sign up for. I'm Annie Baxter for Marketplace.
Wall Street today shrugging once more in the face of geopolitical agita. We'll have the details when we do the numbers. In South Africa, Africa, there is political disquiet this week to go along with economic discontent. The parliament there tried and failed, as perhaps you read, to get rid of President Jacob Zuma yesterday. A vote of no confidence did not get the votes needed to pass, but it was closer than it's ever been, and it showed Zuma's own party, the African National Congress, is deeply divided amongst itself. Zuma has been accused of corruption on the order of hundreds of millions of dollars. Unemployment in South Africa is at 27%, above that a little bit, actually. Its sovereign debt is officially junk. Sean Gossel is a senior finance lecturer at the University of Cape Town's Graduate School of Business. Welcome to the program.
Thanks very much.
What, in a nutshell, is what got us to this point?
Back then, since 2009, really, South Africa never really recovered from the financial crisis and never really got its economy up and running on all cylinders again. So, as a consequence, there's been misspending predominantly through our state-owned enterprises, and that's what's brought us to this point where the state-owned enterprises have not offered efficiently priced services and have been used for nefarious reasons, predominantly in the form of looting. And as a result, the creditworthiness has been declining to the extent now that we've actually been downgraded.
About that debt downgrade, the debt servicing agency, the debt rating agencies rather, specifically mentioned government dysfunction and internal party squabbles when it made that debt downgrade back in April, right?
Correct, yes. And that's related to the Zuma-Gupta state capture problems that have come to light in recent months. The Guptas are basically an Indian family of Indian descent. They came to South Africa in 1993 and are very closely interlinked with ANC politicians and have basically been laundering money that was destined for the state-owned enterprises into their own shadow companies.
Here we are with unemployment at 14-year highs in South Africa. The debt has been downgraded to junk. The ruling party is deeply internally split. Elections, though, are not until 2019. What happens between now and then?
We've got an upcoming impeachment process, not so much in the extent that they anticipate Zuma being impeached, but because it's through the courts, it means Zuma does have to testify, which then opens him up to perjury charges if he lies about what's been going on.
Can people, interpret this, really quick? Or do they go through the code? Or is it because of the fact they see it, they get to see me actually, write this way back in the day? This is all about, some of this is dated, not very much, though. Yeah, from a year ago.
Get used to the idea that they can actually vote in secret without any recourse, and therefore will vote more honestly and down the line possibly get rid of Jacob Zuma as president, which is highly unlikely in my own personal opinion.
None of that is going to make the economy tangibly better, right? It's not going to lower unemployment. It's not going to improve the bond rating. But I imagine what the hope is that confidence will return, and thus things will slowly begin turning around.
Yes, confidence will only return, though, if there's a clear indication that the Zuma-Gupta alliance and the effects thereof are weakening. And at the moment, there's no indication that that is the case. We haven't seen any prosecutions. So most of the action that we're seeing is from opposition parties, and we're seeing also private companies and private creditors now putting pressure on government to essentially self-correct. But South Africa's economy is in dire straits, and nothing's going to change that direction in the short term.
Sean Gossel, he's a senior lecturer in finance at the University of Cape Town at their Graduate School of Business there. Sean, thanks very much.
Thank you very much. Pleasure.
I got about another 10 minutes.
While the back and forth over what, if anything, the GOP is going to be able to get done on healthcare continues. Just this week, by the way, President Trump and Majority Leader Mitch McConnell have been sniping at each other about who's to blame for what. But while all that continues, the real problems in the American healthcare economy continue. And here's one. A federal program that lets hospitals buy some drugs at deep discounts and, in theory, use those savings elsewhere. In theory. From the help desk at WHYY,
in theory.
Dan Garmstein has the score.
Back in the 1990s, some hospitals were buckling under the weight of low-income and uninsured patients. Enter the so-called 340B program, which offered these hospitals a sweet deal. Hospitals could buy certain drugs, like for cancer, at 20 to 50% off, turn around, charge privately insured or Medicare patients the full rate, and pocket the savings. Here's Vanderbilt economist citing Nick Pay.
The assumption is that these hospitals will use the difference to funnel money back into safety net operations. Things like running a discounted drug program.
That's the kind of thing happening here on the west side of Chicago at Mount Sinai Hospital.
Code blue, CCU room 830, bed 1.
Mount Sinai primarily serves uninsured and low-income people. The hospital says the $5 million it got last year from the 340B program went to things like getting patients important medication.
Wait. Oh, he already coughed. I figured somebody was gonna make a noise and I had to like listen for it, and so that's why
Dr. Ihab Aziz says she walked out
mind power.
she needed.
Without appropriate antibiotics,
He's not happy about that.
and she will have something called septicemia.
He walked right into that one. I mean, jeez, you know.
This arguably
I ain't gonna catch all of it, but damn it.
and how many hospitals say they're able to provide essential services to their neediest patients. But the economics of 340B may be too enticing.
We believe that entirely too many hospitals are gaining this system.
That's Stephanie Silverman, the spokesperson for a coalition of organizations, including drug
Hey there,
companies who are
Dora.
obliged to offer the discounts. Silverman argues there's a design flaw in 340B. It incentivizes hospitals to prescribe the most expensive drugs they can get to as many full-pay patients as possible.
We see hospitals doing all sorts of things to try and maximize how many 340B dollars they get.
A report from the Congressional Watchdog, the Government Accountability Office, suggests 340B hospitals buy fewer generics than other hospitals. And research from the University of Chicago shows hospitals have gone on buying sprees, scooping up oncology practices and outpatient clinics, often in wealthy communities. Critics say one reason they're doing that is to get access to even more of those full-pay patients. Vanderbilt's Saeed Nickpay says it's unclear what hospitals are doing with that pile of cash.
There's very little oversight of the program, so no one has really been checking to see if the savings are actually being used to subsidize care to those uninsured and underinsured patients.
There's certainly nothing in the program that requires or even incentivizes hospitals to pipe revenue back to low-income patient services. The agency overseeing 340B, the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, says seniors are paying nearly $200 million a year more for drugs than they need to. CMS's Demetrius Kazoukas.
Seniors shouldn't be paying these inflated drug prices in a way that comes right out of their pockets.
CMS's proposal is to let hospitals keep the discounts while cutting Medicare's reimbursement rate. That could mean cheaper copays for seniors and relief for drug makers if the change forces hospitals to drop out of 340B. But it could simultaneously hurt the hospitals that depend on this money and their patients who have few options. I'm Dan Gorenstein for Marketplace.
Women have learned to love themselves and to understand that every healthy body is not a straight size.
Profits come in all sizes, but first,
News numbers.
yeah, the sad music, but not by much. The Dow Industrial's down 36 points, about a 10%, 22,048. Nasdaq down 18 points, 0.2%, 63.52. The S&P 500 essentially flat, 24 and 74 there. Talked about Disney's plans to end its deal with Netflix and launch its own streaming service. Disney shares off 3 0.8%. Netflix down 1.4% today. Comcast was 1 7/10%. There's trouble in the travel market. Priceline down 7% today after it said upcoming bookings showed some softness. TripAdvisor up 2.5% today. Expedia gained 1 3/10%. European markets were down. The FTSE down about 0.5%. Germany's DAX declined 1 1/10. You're listening to Marketplace.
Marketplace is supported by Sunrun. Sunrun offers clean solar energy direct from nature's greatest resource, the sun. Solar power right from your home's rooftop without the hassle of ownership. Sunrun.com. Save with the sun. Sunrun. And by Charles Schwab, who believes a modern approach to wealth management starts with asking questions and providing straightforward answers. Charles Schwab. Own your tomorrow. Learn more at schwab.com. And by College Vine. Mentors selected from Harvard, Duke, Northeastern, and more work with your child to provide mentorship and admissions guidance. collegevine.com.
I'm Tim Monica. Earlier this week, it was reported that North Korea had miniaturized a nuclear warhead. When President Trump responded with a strong message, North Korea threatened to strike the U.S. territory of Guam. On tomorrow's Morning Edition, we'll ask what options does the U.S. have in dealing with a hostile regime. Morning Edition, from 5 to 9 on OPB.
Good evening. It's 6:46, and support for OPB comes from our members and from Janet Hoffman and Associates, a law firm specializing in criminal defense of individuals and corporations in state and federal court. Learn more at jhoffman.com. And from Bank of America, helping strengthen local communities by lending, investing, and giving in Oregon for 125 years. bankofamerica.com/Oregon.
This is Marketplace. I'm Kai Rizdal. There was a report out yesterday from the Department of Energy that was kind of interesting. For the first time in almost 60 years, the United States is set to become a net exporter of natural gas. We've got, or can now get to, in ways that didn't used to exist, lots of it. Not up to speed, though, is our energy infrastructure. There's a ton of natural gas underground in western Colorado. Being landlocked as Colorado is, though, access to overseas markets can be tricky. There was a natural gas terminal planned for coastal Oregon, not all that far from Colorado when you think about it. The Obama administration put the kibosh on the thing, but the White House, right now, Trump, is talking about bringing it back. From the public media newsroom Inside Energy, Dan Boyce has the story.
66 trillion cubic feet. That's how much natural gas the USGS now estimates is locked in the Mancos Shale Formation in western Colorado. The industry thinks there's even more. David Ludlam with the West Slope Colorado Oil and Gas Association.
Even if you're in the industry, it's hard to wrap your mind around. I mean, we haven't begun to grapple as a nation with what we truly have.
There's enough natural gas in the Mancos Shale to power the whole country for more than 2 years. Except the drillers here have to compete with drillers everywhere else. And right now, the Mancos has a profit problem.
It's just more profitable in other areas in other states that have a direct connection to bigger markets.
He means overseas markets. The more markets you can access, the higher the prices you can charge. The country's other major natural gas fields all have direct access to terminals where the gas can be converted to a liquid and shipped abroad. The catch: not one of these other so-called liquefied natural gas, or LNG terminals, is located on the West Coast. Not yet.
The first thing we're going to do is we're going to permit an LNG export facility in the Northwest.
That's President Trump's chief economic advisor, Gary Cohn, speaking at an international finance summit in April. He's talking about the proposed Jordan Cove terminal in Coos Bay, Oregon. Asian countries need a lot of natural gas, more than they can supply themselves.
Just think of the transport time from the Northwest to Japan versus anywhere else.
Way cheaper to haul gas from the Oregon coast than, say, the Gulf of Mexico. The Jordan Cove terminal would help the U.S. compete with other gas exporters like Australia and Qatar for that Asian market. But a lot of people living near the site of the proposed project, they're not convinced.
Very discouraging to have to fight this thing over and over again.
Clarence Adams is a landowner in Douglas County, Oregon. See, permitting the facility falls to the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, or FERC. They denied Jordan Cove's permit last year twice.
Once they lose, they should lose, period.
He opposes the project because a pipeline serving the terminal would have to be built right across his property. And that's a reason FERC denied the permit, saying it didn't justify using what's called eminent domain to force pipeline construction through private land. Lena Moffitt is with the Sierra Club, and she's against the project from a climate perspective. She says Asian countries are doubling down on renewable energy, and approving more fossil fuel projects is a step backward.
These kinds of long-term investment, new infrastructure that locks us into expanded gas reliance are not needed.
Still, it's those very same investments and the jobs they bring that industry is using to argue for FERC reversing its decision. David Ludlam, with the West Slope Colorado Oil and Gas Association, says the long-term, stable contracts signed with foreign buyers are highly desirable.
We're looking for a different type of investor, one that can come in and own reserves in the ground alongside our producers and provide a economic certainty.
And the industry is getting optimistic that the conversation about the terminal is not over. Elizabeth Spomer is president and CEO of Jordan Cove LNG.
We've got a new administration who's very, very much pro-LNG exports.
Just before heading out for its August recess, the U.S. Senate voted to confirm 2 Trump nominees to open FERC seats. Both are considered friendly to oil and gas interests. The Canadian company proposing the terminal, Veresen, says it intends to refile the